Dear guests, welcome to the UAE Pavilion at COP28. We would like to bring to your attention that the following session will be broadcasted via live stream on our channels. We seek your kind support and mindfulness during the presentations. Thank you for understanding and enjoy the session.
Your Highness, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed attendees, welcome. I'm pleased to stand before you today to welcome you to this truly special event, Building a Sustainable Blue Economy in the UAE. My name is Lubna Zaytouni, and I stand honored in front of you to host this event with you. Without further delay, let me guide you through the exciting agenda and objectives that we have lined up today. Indeed, we have two sessions. We will start by welcoming on stage His Highness Sheikh Majid Al Mualla, Chairman of the Tourism and Archaeology Department of the Government of Al Quwain, and His Excellency Abdallah bin Tugh al-Marri, Minister of the Economy in the UAE. After that, we'll have a fireside chat session by Mrs. Leila Abdellatif, Director General of Emirates Nature WWF, and Mr. Mohammed Al-Marzougi, Chief Executive Officer of HSBC UAE. What do we want to achieve, advance today? Well, we have three objectives. The first one, we're looking to explore how the sustainable blue economy model can serve as an innovative pathway, not only for economic diversification, but for climate action as well, both at the national level in the UAE and specific phases on Al Quwain. Second, our distinguished guests will share insights into the sustainable blue economy initiatives they have implemented in Al Quwain, aligning with the overarching SBE Strategy 2031. And finally, we will share comprehensive scientific insight collected by Emirates Nature WWF on Al Quwain Natural Capital. This will encompass biodiversity assessment, blue carbon, and advance in food innovation, aiming to illustrate the importance of fostering public-private partnership. Without further delay, let us welcome to the stage His Highness Sheikh Majid Al-Mualla, Chairman of the Al Quwain Tourism and Archaeology Department of the Government of Al Quwain.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, from the inception of our nation to the present day, guided by the wise leadership of our ancestors, the United Arab Emirates have consistently worked to channel the efforts towards making environmental preservation a paramount national priority. Today, it is with my pleasure and profound sense of purpose that I stand before you in COP28, joining hands to translate the visions outlined in our national agenda into tangible reality. Joining hands to translate the visions outlined in our tangible reality. Throughout a collaboration efforts between communities and governments, we have a unique opportunity to address the dual challenges of climate change, biodiversity loss, implementing effective solutions for a sustainable future. To advance the nation's efforts in tackling climate change and promoting sustainable development and economic diversification while ensuring the preservation of our environmental resources, we proudly launched Al Quwain Sustainable Blue Economy Strategy 2031 at the World Government Summit last year. The strategy is designed to achieve three pivotal goals: sustainable economic growth, conservation of our marine ecosystems, and significant contributions of UAE net zero strategy. To support the implementation of UAQ Sustainable Blue Economy and to ensure the sustainable management of the coastal waters of our emirate, a series of key measures have been taken. These include preventing overfishing of the coastal lagoons, Khorum Gawain, banning single-use plastic throughout the emirate, and regulations for marine affairs and living marine resources within Al Quwain. Furthermore, our commitment to our environmental best practices is showed by initiatives such as Al Quwain Mangrove Reserve, a transformative project proclaiming the largest percentage of natural reserves in our emirate, contributing significantly to our goal of preserving 20% of Al Quwain's area. Our journey towards this moment has been marked by solid commitment, engaging both the public and private sectors. To this end, we established a collaboration between Al Quwain government, the Ministry of Economy, Emirates Nature WWF, and HSBC Middle East, and to advance the implementation of the strategy. In partnership with Emirates Nature, we completed a series of scientific studies that brought to light valuable insights about the importance and value of our coastal habitats, such as mangroves, seagrasses, salt marshes, and corals within Khor Mgewen. These habitats store over 300,000 metric tons of carbon and are home to important wildlife such as guitarfish, sharks, sea turtles, and more than 350 species of birds. We are at a unique window in time when this incomparable place of natural beauty and cultural importance is recognized for its value, and at the same time complemented by sustainable economic uses of the area now and for future generations. Today, Mgewen is proud to launch a first-of-its-kind UAE initiative to develop a set of robust sustainable blue economy guidelines spanning four vital sectors that are closely linked with our marine natural capital: tourism and recreation, built environment, infrastructure, food and emerging sectors, and maritime transport. These guidelines will not only support the implementation of our SBE strategy, but will also pave the way for an eco-certification scheme motivating sustainable practices in the private sector. Finally, we are pleased to formally announce the beginning of a pilot project together with our partners in Emirates Nature WWF to explore the socio-economic potential associated coastal systems, ecotourism, food innovation, setting the stage for national-based solution, pipeline projects that can be scaled up, providing opportunities for private enterprises and impact investments. Today's announcement seamlessly aligns with the UAE's leadership and climate and nature aspiration, establishing a firm foundation for sustainable management for vital marine and coastal ecosystems. We aspire to position Al Quwain and the entire UAE as a sustainable ecotourism hub and center for carbon sinks and biodiversity. This landmark announcement at COP28 is an invitation extended to all stakeholders across every sector. We invite you to join us in crafting a future where economic progress is harmonious with nature. It is an invitation to join hands to set out a transformative journey toward a brighter and more sustainable future. Our commitment is firm, our vision is bold, and our doors are open to all who wants to join us and build a future where nature thrives, the climate is protected, and our people prosper. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Highness, for sharing such an important and crucial milestone, inspiring about the Al Quwain Emirates Sustainable Blue Strategy 2031. Now, please, I would like now to extend a warm welcome to His Excellency Abdullah bin Tuq Al Marri, the UAE Minister of Economy, to the stage, who will enlighten us on the UAE vision for sustainability, focusing on diversifying the economic landscape. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Your Highness, distinguished guests. It's my pleasure to be among you today here at COP28, addressing what's the blue economy and the strategy of building the blue economy here in the Emirates of Al Quwain. The Ministry of Economy is honored to co-organize today's event with the government of Al Quwain and with the support of our partners at Emirates Nature WWF and HSBC Middle East, and we gathered here to highlight the achievements made so far by the implementation of the Sustainable Blue Economy Strategy 2031 of the Emirate of Al Quwain, which is considered a pioneering economic model within the UAE and the MENA region. Today, at the COP presidency and delegation from all over the world are deliberating on the critical topic of nature, land use, and oceans. The linkages between ocean health, climate change, and economic resilience are all well recognized. The implementation of a sustainable blue economy that integrates sustainable use and conservation of marine resources and climate mitigation and adaptation offers a new and progressive paradigm for managing marine ecosystem in the interest of climate, nature, and of course, the economic prosperity of the populations. A model that follows the principle of sustainable blue economy is of utmost relevance and significance today when global economies and governments and business leaders are called upon to scale up nations and solutions that address climate and put nature at the heart of the climate and economic agenda. The United Arab Emirates remains committed to the Sustainable Development Goals, and my ministry sees great opportunities arising from an integrated approach between oceans, climate, and economy. We strive to enhance economy competitiveness while protecting and conserving its natural resources and heritage, and we see the Sustainable Blue Economy agenda as an innovative development pathway. The UAE economy is enjoying the benefits from the sea, such as our maritime industry, our coastal built environment and water production, fisheries and tourism. And according to a recent study undertaken by the Emirates Nature WWF, 66% of interviewed business stakeholders agree that their companies depend on the quality of marine environment. Implementing the principles of sustainable blue economy is essential to charting a trajectory of sustained and inclusive economic growth and ensuring the success of our net zero drive and the strategy of green economy more broadly. The Ministry of Economy has been working in close cooperation with the government of Al Quwain, Emirates Nature WWF, HSBC, and other partners and implement a sustainable blue economy model that engages businesses, offering an impetus to local entrepreneurs, small and medium enterprises, and under the strategy, 20% of Al Quwain is said to be a nature reserve by 2031, and the sustainable blue economy is expected to contribute 40% of the Emirates' GDP. As we take concrete steps to fulfill the UAE commitment under the Paris Agreement and the Global Biodiversity Framework, we strive to build a future-focused economy that's founded on innovation and knowledge. And the public-private sector partnership we witness at this event here today exemplifies the spirit of collaboration and cross-sector dialogue we need to build a nature-positive and climate-resilient economy. With a sustainable blue economy model, we believe that we can unlock new possibilities for sustainable development, creating a pipeline of technology-driven enterprises and a credible nature-based solution. Thank you for joining us at this event, and let us collectively and collaboratively work towards an ambitious goal on nature and climate and deliver on our commitments to leave a safe planet for our children and grandchildren. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for shedding light on how the sustainable blue economy is actually representing a significant opportunity for climate-smart economy. Before moving to the fireside chat segment of the event, let's embark on a captivating exploration of Al Quwain Lagoon, a haven for diverse ecosystem and marine life. This serves as an invaluable natural capital, laying the ground for the establishment of a sustainable blue economy. The videos that will start very soon also present some of the work that we have been implementing to advance the sustainable blue economy strategy in Al Quwain. Thank you very much for this video, which I hope had offered you a glimpse of the beauty of El Goem Lagoon and the importance of its biodiversity. I now invite Mrs. Marina Antonopoulou, Chief Officer of Nature and Climate at Emirates Nature WWF, to take the lead on the fireside chat session. Marina, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Lubna. And it gives me great pleasure to be here with all of you today. This is a truly precious project for Emirates Nature WWF. And we would love to hear from our Director General, Ms. Leila Abdulatif. Please, it would be great to see you here. And we will also have on the stage Mr. David Ramos, Head of Sustainability for HSBC MENA East. Unfortunately, the CEO is engaged on another event, so he sends us his regards. So thank you very much for joining us today. I'm really excited to be here with both of you. Leila, maybe we can start with you. You were also at the ministerial earlier on mangroves. And as Emirates Nature WWF, you have been working a lot on coastal ecosystems for almost more than a decade, actually. We saw the video. I think it's, there's something in our hearts when we see this beauty that is in about an hour away from Dubai. But it's not only about the beauty, right? It's also about socioeconomic benefits that we have from nature. Can you please tell us a little bit more about why is Emirates Nature working on this topic?
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, Your Highness, Your Excellency. Thank you all for being here today. I think as Marina had just mentioned, this is definitely a topic that's very dear to all of our hearts in the room today. And we've all been working very hard to ensure that this beautiful coastal ecosystem in Al Quwain in the long run will essentially not only drive nature-based solutions, but also unlock new opportunities for SMEs in the area as well that are very much aligned to sustainable blue economy. But I think, Marina, going back to your initial question, and His Highness Sheikh Mayed had also highlighted quite a few of the facts around the scientific research that was conducted into the area. Al Quwain has a clear value proposition from a number of different perspectives. As Emirates Nature WWF, we've been working in the area for quite a few years, very closely with the government, very closely with the local community, and through the support of the private sector, with David here sitting to my left, representing HSBC. And we've been looking at a number of different studies. So we're looking at natural capital assets of the area, but we're also looking at economic studies, and we're also identifying beyond that, what are the socioeconomic benefits of the area? As His Highness mentioned, and you got a small glimpse of that in the video that was showed earlier, through the scientific research, we've been doing a lot of carbon accounting in the area. So actually looking at the carbon capture potential of the mangroves by measuring mud cores to see what's stored in the area. And there's a staggering 300,000 metric tons of carbon in Al Quwain mangroves, and not only the mangroves, but often the overlooked habitats, so our seagrasses, our salt marshes, our mud flats. But beyond that, the area is a biodiversity haven, and we've seen that as well from the video with the species that are present in the mangroves that support a number of different economic sectors for the Emirate and for the UAE as well. Our marine economic sectors are tourism, our real estate, our fisheries. They are all reliant on these healthy marine coastal lagoons, and they depend on them in order to thrive in the long run. And the work that we're doing in the area is focused on nature-based solutions. Now, nature-based solutions, we heard it a couple of times today, but what those are is essentially actions that aim to sustainably manage, protect, and restore the natural ecosystems in the area, whilst also unlocking benefits for people, for climate and biodiversity. So we're trying to identify how can we unlock finance into the area, not only through grant financing, but also blended finance that supports those small-scale businesses in the area that will continue to thrive and flourish through those coastal lagoons and through the services that those coastal lagoons provide. And I think I'll talk about it a little bit later, but spanning on a number of different topics: ecotourism, food and water security through climate resilient crops, but also through blue carbon and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. And I think we also saw in the video that this project is about partnerships with the Malqueen government, the Ministry of Economy, but also the local communities and the economic sectors that they thrive in that area. And we're also learning a lot from those local stakeholders. David, you heard what Leila was talking about, socioeconomic opportunities. Usually folks are not necessarily aware that there is an economic case for nature. Maybe the business case sometimes is not there, but it's also interesting to have you as a commercial bank here supporting this project, but also doing a lot more. Can you tell us a little bit more, why is this important for the HSBC?
Yeah, thank you very much, Your Highness, Your Excellency. Thank you for having us here. It's a great honor to be here and represent the work that we've been doing for quite some time already. For HSBC, obviously, what is most important is the transition to a net zero economy. It sits at the core of our global strategy. And for us, it's also clear that we cannot achieve a net zero world without addressing and halting biodiversity loss that is happening. We need nature. I think is almost 40% of the global output. It's actually depending moderately or highly on nature. So we need nature to operate. In terms of commercial opportunities or what are the role of financial institutions or banks in general, there is an $8 trillion gap that is needed between now and 2050 that we need to be able to address biodiversity challenges that we have now. Right now, the amount of money that goes into nature or nature-based solutions is $154 million per year. So we need to double by 2030 and quadruple by 2050 the amount of money that goes in there. So obviously this is a must, but it's also a great commercial opportunity for those organizations that can jump on this. For us, it was obviously important to support a project like this that we are supporting with philanthropic funds. But in the initial conversation, Laila, you were referring to it, for us, it was not that much about let's go out there and plant trees without thinking how are we planting those trees or where, but let's make sure that we prepare all the ground, we do all the research that has to be done, and we are sure that whenever we do a restoration activity or whenever we do a protection of a marine protected area, we make sure that this is the right way and we're doing it in a scientific way to make sure that we can stop depending on philanthropic funds. Most of the nature projects, they are reliant on concessional finance, and this is not a solution. This is not a way forward to increase the amount of money going into that. We need to unblock the barriers that financial institutions like us have right now to be able to invest in those projects. And I think this is a great example on how we are doing that by engagement with all policy stakeholders, by engaging with all the key elements, all the key stakeholders in the country that are going to help set what we call the enabling environment for advancing private capital into nature-based solutions projects.
Thank you, David. And you also mentioned that huge gap in terms of financing for nature. So can you tell us a little bit more about, if you can elaborate a little bit more maybe on you touched upon earlier on public-private partnerships, NGOs, the importance to invest in science-based as well, information, because what we hear a lot from investors is not only about the financials, but you also want to see from an impact perspective where the money goes to in terms of social and environmental benefits. But can you tell us a little bit more about what is the role of public-private partnerships and where do you see the strengths?
Well, I don't think we can sort all of these crisis, the global climate crisis that we are on, and global biodiversity crisis on an individual basis. I think we need to collaborate, all the organizations that need to be involved. Laila and I were just coming from the Mangrove Breakthrough official event and yeah, running from it. And it is clear that there is more need of financing going to these projects. We've been working actually at a global level. HSBC has been involved in a piece of work with the Mangrove Breakthrough to unblock private capital into specifically coastal ecosystems. And we've done that because as a global organization, we understand the importance of the topic, and we are chairing, or Noel Quinn, our group executive committee, our group chief executive is chairing the Financial Services Task Force, and all the banks in there, which is part of the Sustainable Markets Initiative, is 12 international banks are sitting in there. All of the banks in there, the CEOs of those banks, recognize that the topic of nature had to be a priority for all of us as a financial institution, and we decided to work on that topic for this year. We've issued, well, there are 2 reports that came out of that collaboration. One is the Mangrove Breakthrough Financial Roadmap that establishes mechanisms that can be used to achieve the Mangrove Breakthrough targets, which is $4 billion by 2030 and 15 million hectares protected of mangrove ecosystems. But we also issued a very much practitioner guide for banks, for financial institutions, that helps somehow unblock those barriers, comes up with a potential financial mechanism that could be used by banks to deploy capital into nature-based solutions projects. So again, going back to your question, it's all about partnering across industry, within the industry, and obviously with the key government stakeholders as well.
Thank you, and it has to be a holistic and integrated approach, right? So thank you for that, David. Leila, back to you. So again, you were on these global discussions on global mangrove breakthroughs and diverting financing for coastal ecosystems. David mentioned as well that there is this global guidance on how to unlock private and public capital. Can you tell us a little bit more when it comes to our local projects here on the ground, and especially the Quain project? What is next? What are we hoping to achieve?
Thank you, Marina. Well, I think it's an important question because sometimes we talk a lot about the science, we talk about NBS, but what does that mean in terms of the real projects on the ground? What are we actually implementing? So with Quain, we're working very closely with the government and with private sector partners to actually also look at a sustainable ecotourism model in the area. And from the initial assessments that we've done, we've also identified that there is a potential annual revenue gain of $40.5 million from a sustainable ecotourism model implemented within the Emirate. And we are also at the moment just launching a very small scale ecotourism activation, but one in which we can really showcase the economic value and the value for tourists to visit the area beyond, of course, all of the immense wonders that the Emirate has to offer, which is an eco-trail that we'll be implementing and building collectively with the government in Quain. But another very interesting pilot project that we're exploring with our partners, the International Center for Biosaline and Agriculture, ICBA, is a project that looks at actually piloting and testing climate-resilient crops. So in Quain, what you have is a salt-tolerant plant called Salicornia that grows along the coastline of Quain. It's actually quite unique to that particular emirate. And what we're working with local farmers to look into further is how can we potentially harvest this crop and export it, well, first of all, locally, but also globally as a new animal and food commodity. It's not yet utilized very much so in the UAE, but there's a very exciting potential around that. And again, through the philanthropic grant financing from HSBC, it enables us to test these innovative solutions, test innovative food market projects, and see if there's a potential to commercialize them to then attract new types of capital, right? And that's the whole sustainable blue economy model, if you will. As His Highness had mentioned, we're also launching the Sustainable Blue Economy Guidelines for Quain, where we hope to work very closely with the private sector to encourage new businesses that align with those guidelines as well and align with the sustainable ecotourism or sustainable in general blue model. And we're working also with Accenture on the finance side with our partner Accenture to actually look at what is the current state, what are the enabling conditions, barriers, and opportunities to drive more finance towards sustainable blue economy innovative projects in the UAE, but also towards nature-based solutions that are across the spectrum. Some are generating a return of investment, but others, such as mangrove restoration projects, are not designed to generate that strong return of investment, yet they have a high impact. So these are the areas that we're exploring. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leila. We're running a little bit out of time, but it was quite useful to see how, from the global, again, frameworks, we're aiming to look at a mechanism when it comes to blended finance that makes sense for the UAE and particularly for the Al Quwain Emirates. Before we say goodbye for this event, any last words, David, in terms of what would you like this project to achieve moving forward?
Well, I would love to see, let me rephrase this. I think the UAE sits in an excellent position to take a leadership role in blue finance or in nature financing as a whole. And there are a lot of elements, a lot of activities that are already happening, like the Mangrove Alliance for Climate, and many other initiatives like this one, and many other public partnerships already happening. So I would like to see the UAE being really setting an example and being the leader by maybe issuing one of the first or the first blue bond in the region to help scale up the amount of money going to nature-based solutions projects.
Thank you, David. And then Leila, any last words from your side in terms of what we're hoping to achieve with this project and perhaps beyond?
Well, I think we're all here at COP, and it's important for us to know that in the next, I think we have 4 days left, I've lost track, that we continue the momentum, right? So what is going to be our COP28 legacy for our country? How can we also scale up efforts on the ground, domestic efforts, but showcase them as a real model that can be exported globally and that can really push the ambition globally as well. So we're very excited about the work that's progressed so far. It's been such a fruitful partnership, alhamdulillah, and we're looking forward to continuing that and to start matching as well financing with these NBS projects on the ground. And start showcasing some real efforts. I think we've also done quite a bit of mangrove planting and restoration efforts in Al Quwain, and I'm happy to announce we have a 92% survival rate on those efforts as well. So it just shows that there are the right conditions for real impact. Thank you.
So thank you to the lovely panelists. I think it's about to close, but for us, again, we've been working on this project with our government partners for a few years now. It's not the end. We hope for a long-term partnership. And I think it's time for a picture, a group picture. Yes or no? Sorry. Okay, thank you.